Now at 10, the Missouri Secretary of State gives a civics lesson on what happens to a ballot when it's submitted. Plus, a judge in McDonald County, Missouri, formally sentences a woman convicted of killing her husband. And we have an update on impeachment proceedings against the mayor of Carthage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
When you turn in your ballot on November 15th, do you know what happens next? This is PM News at 10. I'm Anthony Saviello. The Missouri Secretary of State says the next step is a process called certification. County election officials gather the tabulated numbers from ballot machines for an initial count. Those unofficial results are typically released on election night, but official results can take much longer. Every ballot is counted physically and analyzed by multiple people over the course of several weeks.
Sometimes we will notice a problem on election night with a number, but once we've put it out there, we don't change it until we go through the certification process. Because the last thing we want is for numbers to be changing and people saying, hey, what's going on there?
The certification process typically lasts for 30 days past the election. When the process is complete, official election results are published on the Secretary of State's website. The November election is fast approaching, but in order to vote, residents need to be registered. The deadline to register to vote in Missouri is this Wednesday. The deadline to register to vote in Oklahoma is this Friday. For information on where and how to register, you can find out on our website, kymnewsnow.com/elections. And some Oklahoma voters should be aware the Ottawa County Election Board has announced a change in polling locations. According to the board's Facebook page, the location for voters in Precinct 23 will change from Quapaw City Hall to the Quapaw Fire Department meeting room. The board says the location change is due to the storm damage at City Hall. The City of Joplin held a council meeting tonight. The council discussed a number of items, including emergency ordinances to revise school zones, as well as school zone speed limit times around a number of schools. The council also discussed increasing the speed limit on 44th Street from Connecticut to Rangeline from 35 to 45 miles per hour. The City of Carthage continues to move towards impeachment proceedings against Mayor Dan Rife. Talk of impeachment from certain members of the City Council go back to April. The articles of impeachment accuse Mayor Dan Rife of violating his oath and duties as mayor. The hearing officer was to be hired for the hearing date. However, Rife filed a temporary restraining order against the proceedings. A Jasper County judge determined that the delayed hiring violated the mayor's due process rights. A temporary restraining order was granted to Rife, temporarily halting the proceedings. The date for the impeachment hearing is tentatively set for October 29th. We'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at weather.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today. Temperatures, after we had a pretty warm weekend, it cooled down a little bit yesterday, and then today 77. 46 is where we started, average high 74, so pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. Now, unfortunately, it's going to start to heat back up as we go through the next several days. Clear skies, nothing going on here, but everybody's watching Hurricane Milton, kind of a tiny compact guy, very small, little tiny eye wall, but this will expand in coverage or real estate as we go through the next couple days. Right now, it's at about top of the scale, category 5, clocking sustained winds at 180 miles per hour is going to make landfall on the western side of Florida here in about 2 days, Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. For us, looking pretty good, still chilly tonight, backing down into the upper 40s. We'll look at the rest of the week here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. Oklahoma's top prosecutor weighed in after the statewide charter school board filed to have the U.S. Supreme Court hear its case. Attorney General Ginter Drummond filed a lawsuit last October contesting the statewide charter school board's contract with St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual Charter School. In June, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled against allowing that what would have been the nation's first taxpayer-funded, state-sponsored religious public charter school. Today, Drummond said in part, quote, "This unconstitutional scheme to create the nation's first state-sponsored religious charter school will open the floodgates and force taxpayers to fund all manner of religious indoctrination, including radical Islam or even the Church of Satan," end quote. St. Isidore was expected to file a similar petition later today. A McDonald County judge today formally sentenced Dawn Wynn to life in prison without parole for shooting and killing her husband, Harold Wynn, in 2021 near Anderson, Missouri. During her trial in August, the defense argued that the initial investigation of the scene included a series of missteps as well as no fingerprints on the murder weapon. A forensic pathologist testified that Mr. Wynn could not have committed suicide due to the lack of trace evidence, gunpowder, or burn marks. Wynn was also sentenced to 15 years in prison for armed criminal action. You'll find more details on this case on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. The city of Neosho, Missouri has support for its infrastructure on the way. Today, the city hosted a presentation announcing the receipt of Community Development Block Grant funds. Neosho plans to utilize the funds to improve parking in the city.
This will enable them to be able to park.
Crazy. It's Casey's.
Joplin authorities were clearing a crash on I-44 west near Rangeline just after 10 a.m. this morning when another crash occurred. The secondary crash, which happened in the eastbound lanes, involved 2 school buses and a towed vehicle. The first bus was towing an SUV. As the first bus slowed in traffic, the second bus crashed into the towed vehicle, crushing it between them. Authorities say both buses were new and being delivered to a school district, but did not have children on board at the time. There were no injuries reported. The numbers show just how dangerous ATVs can be. In Missouri in 2023, there were 256 ATV crashes, killing 24 people and injuring 300 others. Chris Bryant shows us how the tiny Blue Eye School District is working to keep young ATV riders safe on the road and during off-road adventures.
Students at a Stone County school are getting a timely message on ATV and UTV safety.
This is very important for the safety and the well-being of students in our area and all around the nation. The number of ATV and UTV accidents is just increasing every day.
Blue Eye Schools Ride Safe and RideTash partner to provide ATV and UTV safety to students in the district.
And as you know, just this week, somebody in Springfield lost their daughter to an accident. Definitely, it does hit home. And we're not asking kids not to ride, we're asking them to ride safely and just be safe and take care of themselves and others.
For Tag Kent, who co-owns the RideTash company in Nixa.
So I am a Blue Eye alumni, and this community means the world to me. So when we had the opportunity to bring the first ever Ride Safe event to the state of Missouri, there was no hesitation. We knew we wanted to bring it here.
And finding the right partner was key.
We decided to partner with Ride Safe because not only do we want people to be able to get their side-by-sides and four-wheelers to the trails safely, we want them to be safe on the trails.
With professional ATV riders talking about the importance of safety gear.
We understand that Missouri is one of the leading states in the nation for child-related injuries and fatalities on ATVs and UTVs.
Those with the presentation say if today's lesson saves one life, it is a success.
We actually have had situations where we've literally saved kids' lives and have a proven fact of doing that after coming to our events. So for us, this is maybe the only opportunity that a child will ever have to hear this message.
From helmet, safety gear, and getting to put their hands on the ATVs, UTVs, boats, and motocross bikes, students get an appreciation of just how powerful the machines are and how taking time to be safe can save a life.
You know, I think for children, I think it's hard for them to conceive what it really means. But honestly, I don't think adults really know what the seriousness of it is. We have lost in the United States over 4,000 children that are 15 years of age and younger on ATVs and UTVs. And 49% of those are children that are 12 and younger. So that's a big number, and it really does affect little kids.
Doug's next with a complete look at your forecast and the latest on Milton. And a little later, the Frontenac United Methodist Church celebrates 75 years of feeding the community.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Monday for us today after the cold front that rolled through yesterday cooled us down just a bit. So instead of mid-80s like we had on Sunday, we dropped into the upper 40s and then only into the upper 70s during the afternoon. Now, unfortunately, because I like this nicer fall weather, we're going to see a slow warming trend as we go through the next several days. Let's check out Hurricane Milton. Compact little storm, very tiny little eye wall, only about 7-8 miles across, when usually you see it 50, 60, 70 miles across. So a very compact storm, but Milton, it's at peak strength right now, will slowly weaken as we go through the next couple days, but still it's going to sit right around a category 5 as we go through the next few days. Look at the upper level highs. So see how the winds are spreading these clouds all the way across Florida into the Atlantic Ocean. That is what we call upper level wind shear. That is what will help weaken Milton just a little bit as we go through the next couple days. One of the strongest hurricanes I think I've ever seen, clocking sustained winds 180 miles per hour. Stays a Cat 5 over the next 24 hours. And then once it gets a little bit closer to Florida, should drop down to a category 4. But remember, Helene was a category 4, so still major hurricane. Then should make landfall very close to Tampa as we get into Wednesday evening. The dirty side or the stronger side of the storm where we get most severe weather are these bands. So from Tampa to Fort Myers, of Venice, those are going to be the areas that get the strongest storm surge out of this hurricane. The heaviest rains will stay right on the north side. So a lot of eyes on Milton as we go through the next few days. Back here at home, not a whole bunch going on. We have clear skies across the Central Plains. And if we look west, still not too much going on. Jet stream way up into Canada. Until this moves farther south, we're just not going to get much in the way of bigger storm systems into the region. For us tonight, mid to upper 40s. Overnight lows, quick warm up, lower 70s by noon. Most of us will top out 79, 80 degrees. Very similar to what we saw today, maybe a notch or two hotter. Upper 40s again Wednesday night or Wednesday morning, and then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, we heat up into the low to mid 80s. So a slow stepping stone all week long. Eventually, we're going to be back up near 90 degrees by the time we head into the weekend. 49 to start, 72 by noon. High temp on your Tuesday of 79 degrees. Very weak little wave on Thursday may give us a sprinkle or two, but besides that, unfortunately, we're going to stay dry all week long. I do think we'll see some better chances for rain, especially late next week. 79 Tuesday, 84 on Wednesday, 86 on Thursday, 87 Friday, near 90 once again as we head into the weekend. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. For 75 years, generations of chefs have embraced a beloved tradition preparing chicken and noodle dinners to benefit the church's fundraiser for its mission and faith. The tradition is upheld by members of the Frontenac United Methodist Church, where their dish sells out each fall and winter. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with an original member and takes us to the kitchen for the story.
Well, honey, if you was raised back 75, 80 years ago, you do a lot of things, learn how to do a lot of things. And noodles was something that we all made back then.
Cleo Nataleading from Frontenac United Methodist Church is the original member of the 75-year tradition chicken and noodle dish. She says she does it all for her faith.
We did it to raise money for the church. And it's just gone on and on.
Church member Jan Alai says they were whooped after all the work. They've invited the Frontenac Middle School next door to help with the load.
We're worn out.
It's a lot of work.
I tell you, we had to start making noodles a week before because we couldn't do it. We've been blessed with the students from Frontenac that come over.
The members of the church are very thankful for the students who come and help them. The teacher says it's the experience that they get from the classroom to the kitchen.
They love it. Like this group right now doesn't want to leave. They're upset when the block is over, that it's time to go back to their regular schedule. And then the students in the past, if they get to do it again, they're like, yes, I love Noodle Day.
I love those kids like they was my own.
As the aroma of the homemade noodles fill the air, it's clear that this time-honored tradition helps strengthen the bonds of the community. Reporting in Frontenac, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The church says they plan on making between 80 and 100 pounds of chicken for the season. If you want to get a taste of those homemade noodles, the church will start taking pre-orders during the middle of next week. The October dinner will be held on October 16th. Still ahead, Missouri Southern football previews its matchup with Emporia State, and Carl Junction volleyball hosts Webb City. John Dales has those stories and more.
Win big, get to Roper Honda and Woody's Smokehouse.
Well, Missouri Southern football fell to Central Oklahoma this Saturday. That drops the Lions' record in 2024 to 1-5. MSSU is still searching for that first home win and first MIAA win of the season. This week, that pits the Lions against 5-1 Emporia State.
It would be really easy for some of the blunders and frustrations that we've had this season to just like, hey, screw it, 2025, here we come, you know. But I think our guys have a tremendous amount of respect for each other and the hard work and sacrifices that we've made in the summer and off season. And we understand that the results are not what we wanted. It's not what we planned for. It's not what we weren't shooting for this start.
It all starts in practice, getting those reps, everybody talking, communicating, seeing what we see, seeing what we don't see. I mean, I feel like that's the biggest piece coming out, and stacking days.
That contest for the Lions will be their third-ranked opponent of the 2024 season, and this morning we get an update to the Division II coaches poll. Pittsburgh State moves up 3 spots. The Gorillas were ranked 10th for the last 2 weeks. They get bumped up to 7 after a few upsets across the country on Saturday. There are just 2 other MIAA teams in the top 25. Central Oklahoma is undefeated. They're at 13, and Emporia State is at 18. Central Missouri dropped out of the top 25 altogether. The Mules were the preseason number 2 team in the land, but lost to UCO and Fort Hays State. Now to Missouri High School volleyball. Webb City at Carl Junction tonight. The Bulldogs' only loss of the season came 10 days ago against the Cardinals. First set, Bulldogs start fast. CJ's Jaden Howard bumps it to Caitlin Kennedy. She slams it for the kill. Bulldogs need 30 points to win that first set. They lead by 1. Cardinals respond in the second. Savannah Crane assists here to Jaylee Rutledge. She shows off the power with that kill. Cards win big. We're tied at 1. Now we go to the third set. Nearly as long as the first one, but the Cardinals know just who to look for. Rutledge, again with the kill. She gets 20 of them on the night. Cardinals up 2-1. We go to the fourth set. Webb City with a chance to put away the Bulldogs. Crane eventually will bump it here once it gets on this side of the net to guess who? Rutledge. Little love tap over the top, and that ends it. Webb City defeats Carl Junction 3-1. Cardinals back at home tomorrow against Parkview. Bulldogs travel to Marshfield on Thursday. Some commitment news today. Miami high school junior Tanea Green announces her verbal commitment to the University of Missouri Kansas City. Green has been a standout pitcher for the Lady War Dogs the past couple seasons. Just helped lead them to a 3rd consecutive regional championship. And she and her teammates play in the Class 4A Super Regionals. That's this Thursday against Wagoner. Well, the Royals continue their playoff run tonight. After losing by 1 run in the first game of the American League Division Series on Saturday, they hope to even up the series. And the Royals do exactly that. They win 4-2 in Game 2 in the Bronx. That means this best-of-5 series is tied at 1 game apiece. Kansas City scores all 4 of its runs in the top of the 4th inning, and the veteran Salvador Perez got things started in that frame with an RBI. Game 3 scheduled for Wednesday at 6:08. That's at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Big night for Kansas City sports. We've also got the Chiefs hosting the Saints on Monday Night Football. 4th quarter just wrapped up right before we got on the air. Chiefs win that one 26-13. Patrick Mahomes throws for more than 300 yards, but no touchdowns. Kareem Hunt does get into the end zone, and the Chiefs join the Vikings as the only 5-0 teams in the NFL. Chiefs looking very dangerous right now, and it seems like it doesn't even matter what personnel is on the field. They find a way. Just signed Kareem Hunt a couple weeks ago, and here he is scoring touchdowns.
Seems like he was a good addition to bring back to the KC Chiefs.
Seems like it.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. We'll be right back.
When you need a loan, a 4-state hero.
Well, it looks like it's going to be kind of a chilly night tonight. We drop back into the upper 40s once again. Great Tuesday, sunny skies, 79 for a high, up to 84 on Wednesday. We could get a random sprinkle or a quick shower by the time Thursday rolls around. But besides that, most of us stay dry, and then we push near 90 once again by the weekend.
The Missouri Department of Conservation has some advice for keeping animals safe during the spooky season. The department says one Halloween decoration to watch out for is fake spider webs. They recommend using smaller webs instead of larger ones. They also recommend checking your webs on a regular basis and keep them closer to the house. Kansas City they're just loving it right now, aren't they?
Yeah, that they are. And tomorrow, another event in Kansas City, the MIAA Basketball Media Day. And we're going to hear from Pitt State and Missouri Southern, men's and women's basketball. Crazy that we're already talking college basketball, but that season always does sneak up on you.
Yeah, it's coming in fast. So
it is.
A lot to look forward to. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.